Welcome to Lord Howe Island. We're about, I don't know, 300 odd kilometres, 400 kilometres, 500, 600, 800, 700, 500, 600 kilometres from Sydney, from mainland Australia, due east. It's a subtropical island, maximum 400 guests per night on this island, and there's about 400 local residents on the island as well. The island is closed June, July, August, and open the rest of the year. It's November, so it's a really nice temperature right now. It varies from 19 degrees to 22 degrees, and the water temperature right now is about 22 degrees as well. We've just arrived, we're here for a week. We're going to be doing the 7 Peaks tour here at Lord Howe Island, including climbing Mount Gow, which is the very end mountain there that you can just see in the distance. That is a full day hike. It's going to be interesting and challenging, to say the least. Hoping to do some photography here. It's a tropical, well, subtropical island. It's fantastic. There's bound to be lots of sunsets in the evening, and there are sunrises if you get up early enough. Nice. Well, this island's a bit like the movies, sort of hopping on a plane and then flying into this remote area, Jurassic Park, dinosaurs, unusual, gigantic flora and fauna. That's what it feels like. So we flew into Lord Howe. There's an airstrip which starts at one side of the island and finishes at the other side of the island. The island is about 6 kilometres long, and at its narrowest point it's probably just about 100 metres wide or 200 metres wide. Yeah, so we're met by the hosts of Pine Trees Lodge. Hi.
Hello, Peter. How are you?
Very good, thank
Francisco, lovely to meet you.
Francisco.
All the fun facts about the island. There is one hospital, one doctor and 2 nurses. There is one police station with 1 police officer. And he's looking for visitors riding their bicycle without a helmet. He's gonna find you.
He picked us up, he showed us to the accommodation, lodge, the bar, the arrangements for food, etc. So very simple, there's nothing really to worry about whatsoever. And then one of the first warnings that came across was that there's no internet here. So we're here for a week, no TV also. There are emergency telephones, landlines you can use if necessary. Well, that's about it. Apparently in the CBD, which is basically a post office, and we're going there now, there may be access to the internet in a couple of places, maybe some Wi-Fi or something. We're about to find out. Here for the week, doing some organised walks, which is going to be great. So the 7 peaks of the island, and then we'll be heading back to the mainland Australia. It's going to be the same sort of thing. We get picked up, taken to the airport. A plane comes in, if weather permitting. It's good to have travel insurance, just in case you need an extra day or 2 accommodation for the weather patterns to align so that the planes can actually land as well. It's amazing that we're relatively close to mainland Australia, but yet this is pretty remote. So people have gone back to Sydney without luggage?
Yes, but they have hope.
They have hope? So when are you flying back?
Oh, not till next week. Thursday we came, so we've got a week from Thursday to Thursday.
And is this the first time you've been here?
For me it is. Deanna's been here before. So, yeah.
Are you going to come back? To do Mount Gow?
I don't think so. I don't think so. A couple of months ago I had my 90th birthday, so I'm not planning future trips anywhere. What do they say? I don't buy green bananas anymore.
Well, you've had 90 years of experience,
Oh,
so
I
you were
have,
probably the
yes.
most experienced bushwalker here.
Yeah, yeah. Plenty of bushwalking in that time. So you're staying at Pine Trees?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
Are you staying there as well?
Yes, it's
Yeah.
very, very pleasant. And the staff is so helpful.
Oh, we'll have to have a drink over dinner. Day 2 at Lord Howe Island, and we're at Ned's Beach. Ned's Beach? Ned's Beach. So you can feed the fish here, and I think the fish know that. And if you're daring, you can put your fingers in the water. You may not have any fingers left by the time the fish are finished. Oh! You gotta be quick.
.1 kilometers from the saddle and up to Goat House Cave, we gain about 330, 340 meters. So it's pretty steep. So that's our grade 4 walk. It's the day of days to prep you for Gower. And I'm glad we're getting out of the way early on this blustery day. Yeah. So when we go up to Goat House Cave, we come back down the same way to the, what I call the saddle. And then we're gonna go explore the southeastern corner. But it's probably gonna be pretty slippery today. So we're gonna make our way for about just over a kilometer to Boat Harbour. That's one of the few rocky beaches on the island. Depending on the pace of the group, everyone, I encourage you to go your own pace, and that can determine where you end up for lunch. So,
welcome to Lord Howe, day 3, and this is actually the first day of our 7 Peaks walk. We've just had an intro by Chris, our tour guide, and now we're on our bikes riding to our first location, which is going to be Blinky Beach with the sooty turns. Then we're going to be sort of riding on a little bit before we start our walk, which is going to be taking us up to Intermediate Hill and also Goat House Cave. The maximum speed here on the island is 25 kilometers an hour, whether you're in a car or whether you're on a bicycle. There's Mount Gower. That's going to be the biggest hike, something like 885 meters above sea level there. We're going to be going to the other side of this mountain onto the saddle between the two mountains there. With all the side trips, we're doing about 12 kilometers. We're starting off with a class 4 walk. The highest class here is class 5, which is Mount Gower over there. The weather's going to change over the next few days. It's going to get wet, possibly, and rain. What? Hello? We want to do the east side here today before the weather conditions change for the worse.
Somehow there's something in. That's right. Can't even get to see us so far.
About 5 meters from here. Going to see the mountain rose, which is part of the Myrtaceae family. They also use it for those you two going to the distillery. They make one of the gins with it. Gives it a nice red, light red tint. And if it's clear enough, we'll see Ball's Pyramid. But otherwise, you might see that in another day. So I'll see you up at the cave. Remember, if you've still got cliff in front of you, you're not at the cave. If you can't see me, you're not at the cave. You have to get to the cliff and go to the furthest left part. Is that clear?
Yep.
All right, I'll see you there because I just want to show those other two around the corner, and then I'll send them ahead.
Yep.
Since we're going at different paces, and that's okay. See you there.
See, it helps if you've got really long legs.
That's good. Well, Lord Howe Island hikes, particularly the difficult ones like class 4 and class 5, like this one, it's famous for its rope walks. So we're using ropes to help us sort of navigate our way up the mountain. You can obviously use all 4 hands and feet and scramble across the ground, but the actual rope itself does help you use, at least help out by using your arms as well to pull yourself up, which is great. Like most things, there's a bit of a technique to it. Lean back slightly so that your foot doesn't slip out from underneath you, and then continue up. It's a long way up. Oops. Get my balance. We've got a steep cliff looking straight up. Ah, amazing. I think this is a currawong that we've got in front of me, just landed in front of me. Using the rope. It's a long way down if if you misstep. So that's why this is a class 4 walk. Yeah, so end up using all your muscles, upper body, arms, legs, grip, fingers, and keep a steady mind. Don't get to hyperventilate and lose your balance. Gooey! Okay. That's Chris, our guide. The plan was that he'll do a cooey every now and then work out from, I'm the back of the pack, from my cooey where everybody is. So that's good. And filming and hanging on to the rope is not that easy. That's why you leave your bag behind here, just take what you need and go around the door. So we reached Goat House Cave, which is just back there, and now we're sort of walking around the rock here where there's no more ropes to get a better view. Wow, this is amazing. This is the part of the mountain that's completely in the cloud all the time, where dinosaurs roam, where no one that goes into the cloud comes out. Maybe that's false news. Might have to put a disclaimer in YouTube. There is false news in this video. Okay, I declared it. Incredible. You call this a track?
I'm glad you're still here because it's like I'm surprised you let us do that last without supervision. That was really
I had faith in this. Yeah. I'm like, if you're all going up Gower, you're going to be able to do that on your own.
Yeah, true.
By gum, it's there.
It is there, isn't it? That is Ball Pyramid.
Yeah. And you can see over the other side of the saddle is Mount Gower. So you can't quite see that down there. But up here we're getting a complete change in forest type. If you
Look at those gorgeous flowers.
Yeah, that's the wedding lily. So that's an endemic species.
It is.
Oh, isn't it beautiful?
We've got the tree fern, much like, just like Aotearoa, we've got sort of flax-like plants. Got the tree fern, got Dracophyllum here, the truffula,
Yes.
out of the Lorax truffula-like tree. We've got out of the Myrtaceae family, the mountain rose, which I'm not seeing many of the red crimson flowers, but have you noticed them as you come up?
Yes.
You see?
I don't think I noticed anything coming up other than getting up.
You're looking at your feet. Oh, why don't you take the time to look around and smell the roses?
Well, I was doing that too much as I could.
Yeah. Yeah, it didn't take long to cool down up here, hey?
Yes, we have another day. It was a fantastic day yesterday climbing up to Goat House Cave. But today the rain has set in and also the clouds. But we are going for another hike. It just means that we're going to probably get wet. To get to our next hike, we're going to North Beach and we're going to be catching this glass bottom boat here, which will be exciting. So we might see what's swimming underneath. Our group consists of Hans and Brigitte and Will and Kira and Kerry and Chris. Chris is our host.
walk the beach. You know, we'll leave our boots off, save us backtracking. Let's do that. Extras
I know.
to walk in a certain way.
Don't stop and start a conversation.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You didn't brief them well, mate.
There you go.
You get an example from my briefings.
Your umbrella is actually a perfect scene here.
On a rough day, it's nice. You can hear the waves crash on the rocks, and then recede, and you'll hear the clatter of the rocks. That you would have heard that.
Alright, well, the rain has settled in now. The GoPro is having lots of challenges right now. Why it's not filming correctly, I don't know.
You can barely see the Admiralty Islands.
You should click one. Then we buy the ones by sunshine.
Yeah, we don't want too many people up here. And that's 1.2. That's what all the signs say. They're the most common distance on the island.
Only a short little walk.
Yeah, they break it down to that apparently. Yeah.
Hello.
It's a little bit wet. Sunbaking. Yeah.
Channel.
Greenie Flicks Adventure 8.
Oh.
Yeah.
What
Well, I don't know how much audio this is going to get, but it's raining cats and dogs. My GoPro stopped working. My Leica Q3 is still working fine, but it's got in that pocket right now. And the iPhone, I'm struggling with water on the camera lenses and also on the screen, so it's very hard to activate the right filter or the right lens. But yeah, it's constant rain right now, and feet completely soaked. My Gore-Tex jacket seems to be doing the job quite well, so I'm feeling fairly comfortable and warm. But it's homeward bound now, so I suspect there's probably another hour of this before we can get down to Ned's Beach and some shelter and try and dry off a little bit before we go back into town and hopefully go to a cafe and relax for the rest of the day. But Lord Howe Island, I always imagined it to be just a pretty boring small place with nothing much to do, no real adventure. Well, completely wrong in that aspect, and thank God that we've got Chris, our super guide, and he's showing us all the best of Lord Howe regardless of the conditions, rain, sun, hail, snow, and it is quite amazing. So I better be careful here. It's pretty slippery in this rain. Yep, it's still raining. We're nearly finished. The home point, Ned's Beach, is only probably 10 minutes away, and I suspect the rain is here and set in for the rest of the day. So just while we got in what we got in, a true adventure as always. And you know, the life lesson there always is just to get out there and do it, because that's all you remember in life is your experiences. Explore, discover, and experience. Rabbit Island. Every time I talk to the camera, Leah's thinking, oh, he's not pedaling, he's not pedaling. But and we've kayaked across to Rabbit Island, and now I'm sort of struggling through the track here. There is a track here somewhere, and we're going to the top of the island. There is a pine tree at the top, and the idea is to navigate to it. I think it's a blind leading the blind here. So there is a track here somewhere. Where is that track taking us? Through the bush. Can you see a track here? There's a side track here for a view. Alright. Rabbit Island is famous for the mutton birds. They're not here right now, they're out fishing, but they're really ungamely landers and takeoffs. So when they do come and land, they usually go for a sixer. Oh look, there's one right here. So it looks like you're a bit late in taking off. You're thinking about, well, should I go fishing or not today? You going to go fishing, or are you going to go back into your hole? On the beach or in flight, but on land they're pretty rough. Yeah, but we've got a nice view here. Our plan is still to do Mount Gower walk, and that's going to be in a few days' time, and hopefully the weather will improve even more than it is today. I mean, today's a far improvement from yesterday. And yeah, we're going to kayak back to the mainland, and then go for an afternoon walk as well. It should be fun.
And guys, we've covered half of the peaks. Let's check out the central and southern parts. So over here we've got Pine Tree's boat shed. I'm not sure if you can quite see it. Just between the gap and the pine trees. The hill with a spire to the right of it, that's Transit Hill. We'll go up there tomorrow. That's 121 meters. That's the smallest of the 7 peaks. Of course, you all know Blinkies. We're gonna go up Intermediate this afternoon. 250 meters high, you can see a spire. There's a viewing platform donated by Dick Smith. And if you follow the saddle up over to Mount Litchbird, where the tree line ends, and you can see the black cliffs begin, that's where the Goat House Cave is.
That's where we went?
Yeah. So guys, today we're only going to go up to, we're going to go to the same Smoking Tree Ridge. This is that saddle that we're in. That's about 120 meters high. Yeah. And then know that you're almost halfway up Intermediate from there. It's a shorter walk, but it's worth a while. It looks a bit cloudier over that way. That's the direction of Ball's Pyramid. We can't see it, but from the viewing platform we usually can. So that's what we've got to look forward to after lunch today. And then for Friday, the biggest peak, 875 meters.
We haven't seen it yet.
Nah, it's not there.
It's not there.
Yeah.
It's hidden most of the time. No?
Yep. It's about 400 meters of cloud.
The mirage.
Yeah. They've been lying to you this whole time. It's only about 475 meters high. The rest is cloud.
And this is Lord Howe Island Distilling Co. I'm part of one of two people in this business. Other business partner Christian operates a very similar style on the mainland. We do the majority of the distilling now on Lord Howe, and we had this set up about 12 months ago, and it was a great achievement to finally get it started over on the island here. The Lord Howe Island board has got a liquor licence for the whole of Lord Howe Island. So all the establishments that you're staying at, or anywhere you've bought liquor on Lord Howe Island, has to buy liquor through the Lord Howe Island board over at this stage. Very volatile ethanol, 95%. We water it down to 60%. We include all our botanicals into the pot still just there, like a cake. Now, the key ingredient, the egg in distilling, is the small bit of orris that you put in there. So put a small bit of orris in, that's the bonding, that brings all those botanicals together. We heat this still up to just over 80 degrees. 80 degrees, ethanol separates and becomes vapour. It's drawn through, bring that orris in, all those botanicals come in together, comes up and comes into the top of our chamber just through here. It comes straight across at the moment into our cooling unit just through here. This unit here has attached to a 3,000 litre tank out the back with a small little flow reciprocal water flow, and it will cool this down to below 30 degrees. We don't have any cooling agents on Lord Howe Island. That's because the hottest ever day on Lord Howe is 31.5 degrees. So you don't really need to have those cooling agents go. That will cool our gin down and bring it out as liquid. So the vapour turns to liquid through that cooling process, and it comes out between 82 and 84% proof. With that, I've got a nice little machine at the back here called an Anton Par machine. We'll work out how much liquid is exactly in there, then we'll enter the machine to check that liquid for its alcohol percentage, its ABV, and that will give us a percentage. And then we've got our alcohol, and it will actually tell us the exact amount. We need to dilute that with our rainwater to give us our 40%, 35%, or how it goes from there.
Hey, there you go. You could do it all along. All right, everyone got their cameras ready? Get out the way, she's going to fly.
Not too far.
And here she goes.
Ah, shit!
There we go.
Okay, I'm done.
Yeah.
Whoa! I know, I'm good to film.
I'm going to get Peter.
Yes! Whoa!
One less camera.
Yeah. Sorry, I was about to drop you, but I just wanted to knock his camera out of his hand.
What I might do while we're waiting is I'll run through the hand signals to be aware of. We'll just do the safety briefing. I'll point out the life jackets in the rack above your head, which I know sounds really silly on a lagoon-based snorkeling tour, but that's where they are. There are just a few hand signals to keep in mind while you're in the water today. Probably the most important one is the rescue signal, and if you guys get in really serious distress like you're drowning and you really need a rescue, get your hand up in the air, okay? Please don't be waving your hand around if you're just a little bit cold or you've got some water in your mask or snorkel, okay? Save it for if you really need it. Conditions out there today are as good as they ever get. You're going to have a look in Erskine's hole, and then we'll regroup, and you're going to come all the way down this reef line to the blue. So you're covering quite a lot of ground, okay? But it means it's the best snorkel that you can do, because you see everything, and it means you're in the water the whole time, basically.
today. I'm the brewer and the veggie grower here at the brewery. A bit of a unique role, but one I couldn't turn down when I heard this job pop up about 4 years ago. I was making beer at Byron Bay Brewery, and before that I was brewing in South Africa. I'm originally from Cape Town. So you can tell that every kilogram of grain makes 6 or 7 kilograms of beer. And that's one of the reasons that we brew on the island. Shipping to the island is very expensive. It's about $600 or $700 for a cubic meter.
Wow.
So you can imagine if we were bringing in kegs from the mainland, maybe you'd get four or five kegs to a cubic meter, then serve the beer, then you have to ship those empty kegs back off the island. So you get really stung with that shipping cost. It obviously took a bit to ship over all these tanks, but then with every ton of barley that I bring over, I can make 7 tons of beer. We use most of the produce ourselves in the pizzeria. we've done a variety of different things, from selling it to locals and tourists, but now that we've got the pizzeria, it's just such a pleasure for the chefs to run over, grab something fresh and chuck it straight onto the pizza.
Well, this is a big day. This is the day that we climb Mount Gower. So we spent the whole week here at Lord Howe Island doing the 7 Peaks walk with our guide Chris, and he's going to be joining us also actually today. But to do Mount Gower you need to be part of a special tour, and we're waiting for the tour guides to join us, and then we'll be going up as a group. I think we're sort of limited to about 12 or so people to a group, and there'll be 2 groups climbing Mount Gower. Mount Gower is the one that's just in that cloud there, and the smaller mountain here, which is only about 100 meters lower, is Mount Lichbird. Yeah, so we'll be climbing to, I think, around 875 meters today, and the return trip could take up to 10 hours, so it will be quite taxing. But according to our guide Chris, we've succeeded quite well on the 7 Peaks walk so far, so we should survive this as well, hopefully.
Today, you know, have that expectation, especially higher on the mountain, that conditions will be a little bit slippery. But from a safety perspective, we're happy with the conditions today. No guarantees about cloud, but there you go, there's a clear summit, so I think we've delivered, and that's what really matters. Today, the way that we're going to manage the walk is to break the group into 2. So what we're going to do is just, if anyone is happy to go at a slightly faster pace, we're going to just get you to self-nominate, and you'll go in the first group with Kayla. And roughly, if we can divide the group into a half, that would be good. That pace isn't going to be much faster than the second group. It's just that if we can get a buffer happening, that obviously helps us out.
Today there is a pace that I'm going to be setting to enable us to get certain points within certain time frames. We want to be at the top hopefully by 11, and then that puts us back down here anytime between 3 and 3:30ish, thereabouts. With regards to the pace, if you're getting to a point where you're really struggling with that, or you're fatiguing at all, there are points where people will often stop and wait for the group to return. I'm not suggesting that'll be the case. Obviously, having a second group today, if you're struggling, you do have the option to potentially hang back with the second group as well. Just communicate with me as to how you're faring throughout the day, and we'll address it as need be. To the summit, roughly 5k there, 5k back. I'll give you progress updates throughout the day. You can decide whether they're good or bad. If you've got questions, feel free to ask, okay? Probably the easiest way is if you ask questions when we're at a designated sort of rest stop, and then I can address everyone instead of just, you know, saying the same thing 10 times over. This is our native banyan. It's one of the unique or endemic species to Lord Howe, so you might recognise it as being similar to a Moreton Bay fig. The subspecies that's endemic to Lord Howe is called Ficus macrophyllus columinaris. So that name columinaris is derived from these prop-like roots they shoot down. When they hit the forest floor, they'll solidify up into those nice supporting trunks, and that's what enables this particular species to spread through the forest. So they'll crawl along, they'll go for a couple of 100 metres easily. They are the preferred nesting habitat for the only native mammals we get on the island, so they're a little microbat, they're about yay big. Insectivorous. Aside from that, no native mammals or marsupials. So what we're going to be doing from this point here is going along adjacent to the boulders for a little way, and then you're going to do 50 or so metres of rock hopping. That's going to take us to the base of the first rope pitch. That first rope goes straight up quite vertically for 80 metres. So it is a bit of a rude start because you're just going form straight up. Don't apologise for that, because it gives you guys a really good sense that you're on a mountain, and it will more accurately inform you as to the terrain you're dealing with throughout the day, okay? So if you're heading up the first rope thinking, geez, is there more of this, does it get harder? Yes is the answer, so please bear that in mind, okay? At the top of that rope, I'm gonna pause just for everyone to catch up, but once we're all there, we're gonna keep moving to the base of the first vertical cliff face.
Heart rate, heart rate, 158. Whew! That's only 80-metre climb.
Ah,
Nice.
80 metres down.
1/10 down.
Yeah. The big basalt cliff face in front of us here gives you a pretty good indication of the volcanic origins of Lord Howe. So if you're familiar with the Hawaiian island chain, you can really slot Lord Howe into the same category of submarine volcanic activity. We don't sit on the Ring of Fire or any plate boundaries, anything like that. So Lord Howe first formed when an individual hotspot, when the plate moved over an individual hotspot. When you get a weakness in the crust above one of those hotspots, you'll often get a shield volcano forming. So that volcano would have gradually built up to a point where it was exposed above sea level. The original landmass was about 30k in diameter by just over 1k in height. So really quite large compared to what we have left now. This is less than 3%, it's about 2.8. So yeah, it's eroded out really fast. You are left with the really distinct crescent shape to the island. A lot of people assume that because of that shape that it would have formed part of the outer rim of the volcano. This would have actually been formed by the infilling of the central caldera. And you can see that demonstrated really clearly by the distinct layers or strata in the rock face right here. So you have one layer being pumped out, solidifying, another layer forming on top of that. These two distinct rock formations are named after the Hawaiian lava flows. So we have one above us here called Pahoehoe, which is quite a solid fluid flowing rock. And then interspersed between that, you have another rock called RR, which is quite crumbly and porous. You can see that these layers of RR are eroded at a much more rapid rate than the Pahoehoe. So you'll always end up with these undercuts forming. When those upper layers are no longer supported enough, you will get them shearing off. So hence the helmets for the rockfall factor. Not that it's going to do much if a boulder crushes you. Yeah. Today, if the cloud stays up nice and high, you should get some good views down to Ball's Pyramid. So Ball's Pyramid is pretty much the same rock formation as this. So Lord Howe and Ball's form the youngest of a chain of 9 extinct volcanoes running along a feature called the Lord Howe Island Rise. The others just occur as seamounts, so not above sea level.
Well, it's a steep climb, that's for sure. So we're climbing, I think, something like 400 meters in about maybe just less than 2 kilometers, so that's pretty steep. Having a break every 10 minutes or so that we can regroup before we continue on. We're climbing up to the saddle now, so there's no ropes here, but it's just scrambling over boulders, hanging onto trees, step by step.
We're at 480 now. So we're at 480 now, and again 400 400, okay? In terms of distance, we've now walked 4.06k and we're going to 4.96, so you literally have 900 linear meters left to walk. But you do need to expect it to be quite slippy underfoot. Like I said, the higher you go, expect it to get more slippy. Really important that you've got good upper body strength to really lean out off the rock surface. So you really need to grab the rope, lean out and really pull up so that you're getting good grip under your feet. If you try and hug in close to the rock surface, then your feet will just keep slipping out. You'll just eat rock, okay? Or to the side of your body. It's really up to you where you feel most balanced. There's no right or wrong. The next little section, we're going to be doing about half a dozen of the shorter, less steep rope pitches. That'll give you an opportunity to work out best technique for you, okay? My advice is get into a rhythm and keep the momentum going. Don't sort of stop, look for a foothold and then go again. Just grab the rope, go, keep pulling up. You're going to find the footholds as you go.
That's it.
How's it going?
Fantastic.
Yeah, you've got a perfect day.
So this is the mountain palm, a common mountain palm for Norfolk Island. But the most rarest palm in the world is this one here, which is the small berry mountain palm. Only found on Mount Gower, nowhere else in the world. Amazing. Well, apparently we've gone through the hardest part and now we're on the last leg of climbing Mount Gower, and it's all systems go up this track now, and we'll be at the top hopefully in the next 15 minutes or so. Let's see how we go. You can just see Bull's Pyramid in the distance. So the pumpkin palm, is it?
Pumpkin tree.
Pumpkin tree.
Look at the forest.
We're getting close. We're getting close. This could be the last climb here to get to the peak. Well, you know, not that I've done a lot of mountaineering. Well, I'm not the super duper hiker was extraordinaire. This is the hardest hike I've done. Well, I haven't done it yet. The halfway mark is when you reach the summit. You have to get back as well. So go down the same track.
Very far, but just make sure you can see the person in front because it is easy to wander off along here. So up here on the summit of Gower, you've got about 27 hectares of mist forest. So it's a really big area, goes out in a big wedge shape. We just stick to this far end, okay? Because most of it is undermined with all the petrol burrows. So basically you just end up caving in burrows if you went further. Up here you have the rarest palm species on the planet. So it's not that there's only 1 or 2 of them, it's basically a monoculture of them up here, but they're only occurring on the summit of the mountain, not even on Mount Litchbird. So really limited in their distribution. You've got them right here. So these are the little mountain palms, or Lepidorhacus moriana. You can see they have the smaller seeds, hence the name little. Very creative. So up here you can see that the forest environment is really changing. So we've gone from really thick, heavily vegetated native forest to like big open clearings like what we've got here, where you've got invasive grasses and a lot of dieback happening. We actually were almost certain that Phytophthora was in this environment, which is the root-borne fungus, and we were pretty sure that's what was killing a lot of it off. But they have done some soil samples recently, and they didn't get like a positive sample of Phytophthora, but they're not convinced because they were convinced that it was. If it's not, then it's likely that it really just comes down to climate change, and yeah, it's all happening at a really fast rate. So, you know, lucky you're here while it's still here, put it that way.
We made it to our lunch spot. Yippee! Well, we're definitely higher than Mount Litchbird.
Welcome to the summit of Mount Gower, the highest of the 7 peaks on Lord Howe Island. It is 7 peaks is the Great Walk in New South Wales, one of the 13 in Australia. So Great Walk of Australia. And it's 875 meters high, and you're finding species that are found nowhere else, including we've got the wood hen down here. That's an endemic bird. We've got the world's rarest palm tree, and then looking out beyond, we've got Mount Litchbird. We don't climb that one, but we go to the Goat House Cave. That's about 450. Then we've got Intermediate Hill, 250 meters high. We've got Transit Hill, that's the smallest, 121 meters. We've got Malabar, which is situated on a sawtooth ridgeline, which is about 208 meters, and it leads over to Kim's Lookout, which is 192 meters. And then over into North Bay, the other end of the island, there's there is Mount Eliza, which is 147 meters. So throughout the week, you're essentially having Lord Howe Island highlighted from about 27 different angles. You're getting different forest types, you're getting the world's southernmost coral reef system in the world, and you're getting to take in different aspects, and eventually by the course of 5 days, you've really got a sense of what Lord Howe is about.
Guys, in my group, we're gonna kick off now, so we'll leave these guys to enjoy the view.
Going down is less energy required, but more precision, I think. 3 points of contact whenever possible, either the rope or a tree or a branch or rocks, whatever might work. So I think we managed to get the best time. The clouds have disappeared for our view from Mount Gower. They're starting to roll in now. I nearly had a boulder come behind me. In the name of a crisp boulder.
Yep. Didn't go head over heels though, but
a bum slide.
Almost. Got my hand
Side
down.
slide.
Yeah.
Hand slide.
Hand slide. Not too bad.
It's just about done. We're down almost at sea level now, just got to get through this forest. And Mount Gower is done. Well done, mate. Right, so it's 7 hours basically.
Oh yeah, by the time we get back, yeah, 7 hours.
Wow.
Hardest hike I've ever done.
Hardest hike that I've done also.
Oh, this!